For most of us, one of the main benefits of taking GLP-1 is that it helps manage our hunger. When we don't feel hungry, we eat less, and when we eat less, we lose weight. But I'm sure something most of you have experienced is that at some point hunger does come back. Then we get thoughts about increasing our dose, and sometimes we do, but relying only on the meds to manage hunger by constantly increasing it can lead to more potential side effects and cost. I'm Nico, nutrition coach on tirzepatide, showing other GLP-1 users what I do to get better results from using proper nutrition. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I get the most out of my GLP-1, so hopefully you can keep your dose as low as possible and avoid constantly increasing it to deal with hunger. So I use the meds to get full faster, stay full longer, and reduce hunger, but not completely get rid of it. I want to emphasize number 3, mostly because when people use their GLP-1s to stop hunger completely, they tend to undereat and have an increased chance of developing side effects related to undereating, such as muscle loss, hair loss, and low energy or fatigue. So next, let's go over why I don't always increase my dose. 1, more side effects. 2, more money. And 3, the max limits of the GLP-1. First, let's start with more side effects. I deal with nausea, so if I increase my dose, I have a higher chance of getting more nausea. Some people deal with extreme fatigue or vomiting, and if they increase their dose, they're probably going to get more of it, and you can potentially get more different side effects too. Next is more money. I pay out of pocket for my GLP-1, so if I have to take more meds, then I have to pay more money. And last is hitting the max limits of your GLP-1. My dose is pretty low, so I don't have to worry too much about this, but I know for a lot of people, this can be a major concern because if they hit their max limit, and they haven't hit their goal weight, then they have to figure out ways to keep losing weight without a GLP-1, and that could be pretty difficult to deal with. Now, there's nothing wrong with increasing your dose. Later in the video, I'll go over when I do it, but I try to keep it as low as possible for the reasons I just mentioned. Okay, so how do I deal with hunger if I don't increase my dose? I like to use different hunger management strategies, and I split it into 2 parts. What I do while eating and what I do throughout the day. And before we go over them, I don't do all of them at the same time, just as many as I need to get the job done, and I switch it up if I have to. So the first thing I do is I prioritize eating food in a certain order. First is pre-meal hydration, then protein, then veggies, and then carbs and fats last. Pre-meal hydration is just drinking water or calorie-free drinks like diet sodas or sparkling water. I drink a lot of it before I eat solid foods. The reason why is I want to fill up my stomach as much as possible to help me get full faster. Next is protein. Protein helps prevent muscle loss while losing weight, so it's a priority for me. And then next are vegetables. Vegetables are high volume foods, meaning they have high fiber, high water content, and tend to be lower in calorie. And they're pretty good at helping me get full and stay full. I tend to switch the order around of protein and vegetables. It usually doesn't matter which one you eat first, but I just like this order. And then last are carbs and fats. They're usually what I reduce anyways when I'm losing weight, so they're not as much of a priority compared to protein and veggies, especially when I'm hungry, but they're still important to have. And to give an example what this looks like, here's a meal that I usually eat. So I would drink a lot of water first before I start eating anything, and then I have the protein, and then the veggies, maybe at the same time, and then I have the rice last. I usually don't add fats to my meals. It's usually just in my protein or when the food is cooked, so I don't worry about that too much. The next thing I do is I eat slowly and chew my food. It can take a little bit of time for your brain to register that you're eating food. GLP-1s certainly do help with that. I'm a fast eater, but I notice when I tend to eat slower, I get full pretty quick, usually around halfway through my meal, so for me, this helps a lot. Next, I have more high volume foods and less calorie-rich foods. High volume foods are, like I mentioned earlier, have a lot of water content, fiber, and tend to be lower in calorie. You can think of it mostly as fruits and vegetables. The calorie-rich foods tend to digest faster than high volume foods, so if I eat those, then I will probably get hungrier sooner. So I just eat less of it. In this picture, it's just a plate with some protein and some veggies, so I'll have more veggies. And the other picture is just brownies and cookies that I probably enjoyed. I would eat less of those on days I'm hungry. Okay, next are bland foods. Tasty foods tend to be more appetizing and addicting. Like for me, if I open a bag of chips, I have to finish all of it. And if I'm hungry, I'm definitely going to eat more than I'm supposed to. On the opposite end, I find bland foods to be really boring and actually kind of gross. So it tends to get me full a lot faster. So looking at this picture, on days that I'm hungry, I would just have plain rice and chicken. And then on days where my appetite is a bit lower, I have more tasty foods. So I'll add like soy sauce or hot sauce to my rice and chicken. All right, moving on, no carbs by itself. Carbs tend to digest faster than the other macronutrients, protein and fats. So for me, I usually like to have crackers as a snack. On days that I'm hungry, I would pair it with a protein shake because it has protein and maybe a little bit of fat. so it overall digests a lot slower. Okay, that's what I do during a meal. Let's talk about what I do during the day. I have more water and calorie-free drinks, and I only eat when I'm hungry. So throughout the day, I would have more water or carbonated drinks like diet sodas or sparkling water just to fill up my stomach and reduce my appetite so I'm not as hungry. I might have to use the bathroom more often, but I'll take that over being hungry all the time. And the next one is a big one for me. I only eat when I'm hungry. Like most people, I used to follow a set eating schedule, let's say breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But let's say I am not hungry during breakfast, but that I'm more hungry during lunch. If I move my breakfast and combine it with my lunch, I probably would get full faster and longer. So if you have the option to only eat when you're hungry, I highly recommend you try it out. Okay, that's it for hunger management. Again, you don't have to do all of these, just as many as you need to reduce hunger, so you don't have to always increase your dose. Now let's go over when I actually increase my dose. So I consider increasing my dose when I'm still really hungry after I eat an average meal. 2, I get hungrier sooner than expected. For example, let's say I eat a meal and it usually takes me a few hours to get hungry again. If I'm hungry after like 20 or 30 minutes, then I'm probably going to increase my dose. And 3, I think I can handle more side effects. This one is a little bit hard to do because you just have to take your dose and see how you react to it. If I'm just dealing with 1 or 2 of these, then it's not a big deal. I just do the hunger management strategies. But if all 3 of these seem to be the case, then I highly consider increasing my dose. Again, the goal of me increasing my dose is just to help control and manage my hunger, not get rid of it. And this isn't medical advice. This is just what I do. If you want to adjust your dose, please speak to your doctor. All right, that's it for the video. This is how I manage hunger. I hope this helped. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching. Bye.